Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Good to see so much interest here. In fact, I landed yesterday in Cape Town, and one thing I really loved is the rain. I wish I could take back some of it when I go, at the end of this week. Can I hold it in my hand? Thank you. So, last mile. Just some statistics for you before we move forward. As you can see, globally and specifically in Africa, the last mile is increasing dramatically, especially post-COVID. Pre-COVID, there was a regular growth, but post-COVID, people have understood they can order from the comfort of their home, get anything, and I mean anything delivered to their home. In fact, in Dubai, where I live, pre-COVID, we used to go out to the stores to buy our poultry and vegetable and a lot of other things. Since last 2 years, I haven't stepped into the stores to buy my poultry. I just order it, get it delivered in 3 hours to my home. And that's a phenomenon which is increasing globally. In Africa itself, if you look at it, the number of users, e-commerce users, dramatic increase. There are three things. Consumer demands going up, and COVID has also given one more challenge, supply chain challenges. Because since COVID, people will let go ships, containers, they were all scrapped. And since the COVID has gone down, the demand has suddenly gone up so much that there is just not enough delivery capability available in the world. That has led to increase in cost. Something which was available for, let's say, $5,000 earlier, now it's 4 times, 5 times. Even then, you don't know when you'll get your delivery. Third, final mile. Gas prices, as you know, is going up every day. You must be seeing in what you pay at the pump. Every month, it's increase and increase and increase, and nobody knows when it will come down. That's increasing the cost of doing business for everybody. So these are the 3 major challenges which is impacting the last mile. Increase in demand, slowdown in supply chain, and increase in the cost to serve. And what the consumer? You all are consumers as well as business practitioners. What do you demand? You want delivery tomorrow, not tomorrow, today, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You don't want to wait for weeks. You don't want to wait for days. So 48% of the consumers want faster cost of delivery. This from a practitioner's perspectives. You want it as a shipper, as a retailer, as a courier company, you want to ship at the lowest cost possible. And the most important, the Wismo effect, which has become very, very prominent, that is delivery time. If I have ordered something, or if you have ordered something, you want to know when will you get it? Where is my order? Wismo. Majority of the customers are demanding that today. If you look at this, it is another aspect, environmental impact, carbon neutral, carbon emission. How do you manage that while being competitive, while delivering quicker, and while saving money? From a consumer perspective, 98% of the consumers, if they don't get delivery on time, they will either not buy again or they will just switch brand loyalty. One of the very critical aspects. Brand loyalty, delivery experience, if it's bad, your consumer is out. Delivery options, You deliver in 2 weeks, most of the customers are not interested in buying. They want immediate gratification. That's what the user wants. How do you provide that? And the options. A lot of customers want certain options, certain ways of doing things, but most of the consumers, most of the retailers, are not able to provide that. We have, in fact, come out with an sustainable shipment options within our software, where what we have provided is based on green plan, based on sustainability options, we give the customer a choice. How do you want your delivery to be? Depending on the item the customer is ordering, again the customer wants a choice. If the customer is ordering let's say a fridge, there's no point in delivering a fridge at 12 in the afternoon when your customer is in his office or in her office. They want delivery at 7 p.m. in the evening. How do you manage it? Then installing it, two-man options. So the complexity of last mile is increasing with every increase in the order quantities. How complex it is becoming, you can have a look at it. Point of origin, earlier it was shipping out of store, no more. Now it's an omni-channel world. That means you want to ship out of store, you want to ship out of a warehouse, you're creating dark stores to be closer to the customer, or you're even doing in-transit deliveries. Delivery options again are increasing. You have multi-modes. Electric vehicles are coming up. So just to give you a very example, just this particular combination, 15 septillion, I can't even know how many zeros are there in that. 15 septillion combinations if you have to ship 25 packages using this combination. Now you can imagine how complex the last mile has become. It's because of the choices, and choices are led by customers. Customers demand choices, you have to give them choices. And while giving them choices, you also have to ensure that you manage your efficient delivery, effective delivery, and visible delivery. So how do you simplify it? Looks simple, right? One point of delivery, one vehicle, one destination. Doesn't work that way. So what's the option? Anybody? Please don't wait till the end for questions. If you have questions, ask. I would like to be more interactive. I would like to answer as we move forward. Can anybody tell me something? What are the disruptions? Last mile routing. I have just shown you in the previous slide, 25 package delivery, given the number of options today retailers are facing, how many combinations are coming up? So routing is becoming a big key in ensuring that you are doing an efficient, effective, and a low-cost delivery. That's the most important. And the service time. Another thing, because if you have, for example, if you're delivering, let's say, a combination of fashion and big and bulky, which could be a fridge, which could be a furniture. Now, part of it is slot-based, part of it is depending on when the customer is available. How do you calculate all that? So routing, omni-channel fulfillment. It's not good enough just to fulfill from a store or just to fulfill from a warehouse. Today you have to fulfill from wherever nearest to the customer the goods are available, and then taken into consideration in your routing algorithm. Sustainability. becoming a big, big issue now. How do I ensure that I'm sustainable, I'm negative carbon footprint? That's becoming and many customers have started looking at sustainability as one of the reasons for dealing with a particular retailer or dealing with a particular e-commerce provider. Returns, another very big. I know it's a sad reality. Almost 30% of e-commerce goods, retail goods are returned. That's something which you cannot do anything about. You have to live with it. And that's a cost. How do you minimize it? So these are the key drivers which are creating challenges for the last mile. Very interesting. 53% of your cost of shipping is in the last mile. More than half of your cost of shipment are in last mile. And if you look at from the Africa perspective, 2 weeks is average delivery time. This is from Nigeria, I got this data. 70% there's a cost in shipment. And of course, the address challenge. We all know that. Take a turn from the red tree, then go to the blue building. After that's the second left, come to that pole, and that's where my house is. How do you tell the system? So, e-commerce revenue is increasing. You have no choice but to manage last mile delivery. And these are the three factors which has to be controlled because your cost of delivery is dependent on managing them. Routing, as I mentioned earlier, routing is the most important aspect of your last mile delivery because that determines how efficiently you are managing your multiple shipments to multiple customers using multiple algorithms. Types of vehicles, the driver's constraints, the items which are being shipped, the geofences, and that also depends from different industry. Like a food and QSR, grocery, they are on demand driven. That means 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, Domino's, 30 minutes delivery. While fashion can be shipped next week. But when you're coming into big and bulky, which is your furniture, which is your appliances, you need to deliver and you need to install and you need to be slot based. That means you need to honor the slot which the customer has given you. And all that you have to manage while ensuring that your whichever combination of vehicle you're using, because the types of vehicles are increasing now. You have small trucks, big trucks, vans, cars, your motorbikes, e-vehicles. Now drones are adding up. A lot of things are happening. So which combination to use, how to do it, that's becoming the biggest challenge. And efficient routing gives you the best reduction in your entire last mile. See, as I mentioned, there are different ways. 60% is in-store fulfillment, 51% e-com fulfillment centers, micro-fulfillment centers, pop-up distribution centers, dark stores. It's no longer about shipping from one location. Dark stores is basically you set up small distribution centers which are not shop fronts, but they're just small warehouses which are more like a micro fulfillment or more like a centers from especially if you look at your grocery. So if you look at grocery, for example, what they do is they set up small delivery centers in between your smaller population areas so that they are able to deliver quickly. Those are dark stores. That means there's no storefront, they're just delivery centers. Sort of a delivery center, you can say. Very interesting statistics. 78% increase in global parcel deliveries will result in 32% increase in carbon emission. You know, there is a lot of talks going on sustainability, a lot of talks going on global warming, a lot of talks going on how to curtail carbon emission. The sad part is increase in e-commerce, increase in online shopping is only giving rise to it. How do we minimize it? That's another big challenge. And customers today are not so demanding on sustainable delivery options. But if you look at the Western world, US, Europe, customers have started asking for sustainable delivery options. They want to know, while you're delivering to me, are you also taking care of the environment? And retailers and e-commerce providers who are more sustainable, they would have a better chance of winning as we go forward. Retailers, of course, are addressing it. 64% are talking about fully integrated business. 36% plan to bring in e-vehicles into their mix. I believe in South Africa as well, there are a lot of e-scooters which have come up. E-scooters-based deliveries and electric vehicle-based deliveries are coming up. Europe, it's very common. US, it's become very common. And even in South Africa, what I have understood, that it is happening. It's not just about sustainability. It also has an impact on your bottom line. These are all surveys which we have picked up from various sources. Consumer loyalty goes up, consumer satisfaction, and of course, revenue goes up. Local fulfillment, that means lesser travel distance. That is what dark store I was talking about. So more and more local fulfillment centers. Electric vehicles, delivery to parcels, parcel lockers, PUDOs. Like you have Pargo in South Africa, which has this PUDO option. Amazon does it. I believe even Takealot has started doing it. I'm not sure about it. Then autonomous vehicles, they are being experimented with. There is a company called Wingcopter, which is experimenting in Africa. But in Europe, as well as in US, you must have been seeing in the news, drone-based delivery, autonomous robo-based delivery is becoming now very common, especially in your small communities. So the challenges. Route optimization, as I have talked about. That is, if you don't have it, inefficient scheduling. Green fleet, carbon calculation, another very good big thing. Compliance, returns management. A bad return management could even kill your business. Because if customers are not happy, they will just ditch, move. And today, customers don't have time. There was a study recently. Any customer will spend not more than 30 seconds on your website if it's e-commerce. If they're not happy, they will just switch to some other website. Returns. 92% of the customers who have been surveyed For them, a good return is very important. If I buy something and if I do not have an ease of returning it, if I don't like it, I will just switch to another brand. It happened recently with me. In fact, let me give you a personal anecdote. About 3 months ago, I bought a microwave oven from one of the retailers in Dubai. The store is, I believe, 5 kilometers from my house. But I went for an e-commerce purchase. 1 day passed, 2 days passed. Third day, I called up their call center. Hey, where is my microwave? The guy tells me, we have a 5-day delivery promise. Today is only the third day. So please call up after 2 days. I told him, fine, no problems. I'll give you an hour. If the shipment is not there, I'm canceling it. Suddenly they found the shipment and they said, you will get it by end of the day. I said, sorry, I'm canceling it. I canceled it, placed the order on Amazon. Next day morning, it was delivered to my house. As you know, Amazon is the last word in last mile. But it also is the one company which kills retailers. You must have seen, if you have read my review, how do you compete with Amazon? I'll talk about it as I move forward, but that's the way it is. And that store, I'm not going to buy ever again. It's a great store. It's a very big global brand. But 3 days, that's too much. That's the challenge. And if I'm not able to return quickly, I will never buy. So 92% will buy something again if returns are easy. Very tough challenge. And every return, every packet which comes back to you, you have wasted delivery cost. Yeah, that means you have had double the delivery cost to ship and to return. Your sale is lost. So it's a double whammy for a retailer or for an e-commerce provider. But it's an option you have to provide. So how do you minimize it? How do you make it more efficient? How do you ensure that at least your cost of service goes down? That's the last mile challenge here. Easy return process will switch if they have a bad return. I gave you just an example from my own personal experience. I switched. And I'm sure most of you would do the same, correct? Some examples, as I talked about, pickup. These are from this region who are using tech-enabled options to make delivery better. The different ways they're working on. Talking of Amazon. How can you? Today, Amazon is not there in South Africa, but I'm sure soon, what I understand, they are planning to enter. They have, I believe, started exploring the market. So once they come in, how do you compete? You have one option. You go on Amazon, pay marketplace fees, no control, because Amazon says 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. I'll deliver anytime. You be at home. I've had experiences where I'm sitting in a meeting and suddenly I get a call from the Amazon guy. Where is your house? I can't locate it. But today, you don't have an alternative to that. But there is an alternative. Through tech stacks, you can do that. Delivery competitive advantage, marketplace fees, complete control on how you manage the delivery experience for your customers, price control, of course, otherwise Amazon will dictate it for you, and competition with their private labels, because most of the retailers are also going for a private label. Amazon itself is going for its private label, and they are focusing more and more on it. And that becomes a competition to you. So coming to what we do as FarEye. We have the complete solutions which provide, as you have seen, end-to-end delivery experience, visibility, planning, orchestration, and experience, end-to-end. This is a very brief about who we are. We're a global organization, 30 plus countries, with almost 200 customers, very well funded. As you can see, these are the names which I could put them here. There are many, many, many more big Fortune 100 names which I cannot put them on paper because we don't have the rights to use that. South Africa also, we work with quite a few customers. This is a case study of a very large online furniture retailer which works across Europe and US. They have got, as you can see, 33 million items with 27 million customers. And I was talking about big and bulky, slot booking, expectation that you will deliver when I want you to deliver. Service times based on the item mix. We work with them across multiple countries. In fact, both the continents, Europe as well as US. That's the end of my presentation. Any questions?
I was thinking about the statement that you had that that e-commerce results in increased carbon emissions.
Yes.
And I just wonder, is that right though? Because if people aren't using e-commerce, they're probably using their own transport, and that's probably less efficient than the transportation used on e-commerce. So is the net effect an increase in carbon emissions or a decrease?
Actually, it's an increase because what has happened, if you're not, see, first thing, the concept of not using e-commerce, we can't even imagine it. We are past that point of no return, where you will use e-commerce, you will not step out of your home to go to the mall, find a parking, go through the crowd, then just look for whatever you are buying and then buy and come back. People are not going to do that. So it's a reality. E-commerce will go on increasing. And the more it increases, the more number of deliveries which have to be managed. And more the number of deliveries, that means more vehicles on the road. And that's higher carbon emission. You can't help it. I do understand what you're saying that, okay, if it was not there, but we are past that point.
Thank you for that. It was very interesting. For me, I just was taken by the slide where you've got 33% reduction in the number of trucks that are on the road. And I was just wondering if you guys have studied the trade-off between route optimization and the socioeconomic benefits. So, for example, employability and getting people, especially in a growing Africa, working. Because what I'm seeing is that we're going to lose drivers and probably people if e-commerce keeps growing like this, right? And coming in with the electric vehicles and self-driving cars and, the drones and stuff.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your question.
Oh, have you studied the trade-off of e-commerce rising and the technology that's been employed, drones, automated driving vehicles and people actually getting jobs, not losing their jobs because of e-commerce?
In fact, increase in e-commerce has increased the number of people who are getting jobs, especially as drivers. If you have noticed, 3 years ago, you wouldn't find so many delivery drivers on the road. Today they are there, especially in South Africa. What I've understood, a lot of people are just buying a bike and joining as delivery drivers because that's become a source of income which was not existing till 3-4 years ago. So it's actually leading to growth in earning abilities, not reduction.
Thank you. I just wonder, in terms of you're talking about returns and being able to manage returns.
Pardon?
Returns, reverse logistics. So one aspect you said that it must be easier to manage. So in terms of if you were to look at a model of Uber or Mr. Delivery, whereby the person who is delivering to the consumer is not your employee or your company, then what have you done or examples of managing returns easier with a transportation model that you don't necessarily control?
I did not get your question.
So do you have examples whereby there's a transport solutions for managing reverse logistics, which you don't actually own?
Okay, see, how do you manage easy returns, right? That's your question, right? So when you're doing a delivery, what are the aspects of delivery? You do pickup, you have a route. Like in our solution, we have a Uber kind of window whereby the link goes to the customer clicks on it, the customer sees in real time, as you see in Uber, exactly where the driver is, when the driver is expected, what's the ETA. You are able to contact the driver. You are able to reschedule. Suppose you see the driver is reaching 4 p.m. to your house. You're not there. You can reschedule the time to 5 p.m. System will reroute. And another concept which has come up is managing deliveries and pickup in the same route. If you don't do that, that means you're sending 2 vehicles. One's to deliver, another to pick up, wasting petrol. When we do the planning, we do it in such a way that, okay, today 50 parcels are to be dropped, 25 are to be picked up. The system will do a routing in such a way that it's the most efficient your trip, whereby both are managed together. And that's one way whereby you can minimize the cost.
I think the question, if you don't mind me rephrasing it a bit, is do you have any experience or solution set in managing third-party delivery companies? So you don't own them, you outsource them to multiple, and do you have something that can control that?
Yes, we do. We have courier aggregators. In fact, one of the biggest retailers in South Africa uses it, where the entire digital contracts which they have their third party. See, today one of the concept, if you have seen in one of my presentation slides, I talked about outsourcing. See, from a retailer perspective, earlier it was one retailer, one courier partner, especially in South Africa. I have seen this happen quite often. But that has inefficiency because the courier partner doesn't have reasons to be efficient. So what the retailers are doing, like one of our customers in UAE, it's a very large, one of the largest retail groups. They have 25 courier partners. Based on the different algorithm, the rates, the area of operation, the type of cargo they carry, the parcels they carry, or the limit on what they can carry, the system decides which courier partner gets what kind of. We work with FedEx. We only do returns management for them in one of the countries. So there are solution sets which exist, and the whole thing is designed for minimizing your impact on your efficiency. making you more efficient, more effective. Does this answer your question? There's
There's
one
3 minutes
gentleman
left.
there.
One last question.
Just given the delivery challenge of last mile in Africa that you mentioned,
Yeah.
what are some of these more innovative companies doing to be able to get past the rock and the tree and get to the final mile?
Pardon,
Something like the 3 words, what 3 words, or what are there solutions people are using to get over the delivery address problem at the final mile?
See, there are multiple ways. What 3 words is one of the option, but they have not been very successful because there are some challenges. What we do, because we have, like we work in South Africa, we work with in Saudi, for example. Saudi is of course one of the worst because we get address like yellow house. Where? What yellow house? So what we do is, one, in many countries we integrate with the national IDs. Second, we send, the lat long. Let the customer pin. Many a times, while accepting the order, on the website you can have an option whereby you ask the customer to pin the location. And if there is a challenge before delivery, what we do is many of our customers, they send a link to the customer asking them to pin the location. That's one way of solving it. See, there is no what you call a 100% solution. If the customer has given you a wrong address, it's a wrong address. Even the Google will send you to the wrong direction. Or if the customer has not given you any address, there's nothing with anybody, whether it's the what 3 words or the Google or anybody else can do. So the only way is to reach out to the customer, get the address, keep it on record so that next time you can use it again. Or if there's a change, the customer can change it. Usually we do a lat long pinning. Or based from the past history, we take out where the shipments have gone. And we get the customer to verify it. That's how we manage it.